Hello, and welcome to the Superintendent's Effect, the podcast where we highlight great leaders leading great communities. I'm Ann Brown, President and CEO of the Cook Center for Human Connection. I'll be your host today, and I am so excited to be joined by Katy Xenakis-Markowski, who is the Superintendent of Johannesburg-Lewiston area schools in Michigan. Welcome, Katy.
Thank you, Ann. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Well, tell us about Johannesburg-Lewiston. It's not an area I've heard of, and I always love the Michigan people because they can play
We
the
can do that.
bagpipe.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Johannesburg-Lewiston area schools, we are a district of about 300 square miles, and we are located in Northeast Michigan. We are a rural, very rural school with about 650 to 700 kids, pre-K 12. We serve two communities and our buildings are about 20 minutes apart.
Oh, wow. So you have two buildings total?
You have 2 buil I have 3 buildings total. 2 of them are together on one property, and that's a pre-K 12. It actually functions as a pre-K 8 and a 9-12. And then I have another building in Lewiston, which is about 20 miles away, and, it's a K-5 pre-K 5.
Oh, okay. And then they all come together for
And they all come together in middle school, yeah.
yeah. Well, that's exciting. So I know that we were talking before we started, and one of the things that's really fun and unique about you and your school district is you've been there 11 years, you said, right, as the superintendent, and
Yeah.
you've had a very stable board there for 11 years, meaning that you haven't even turned over a board member. So
Yeah.
that's
No, I've
very
been
unique in the
very
board.
fortunate to have a super supportive board. I'm entering year 12 with the same board that hired me back in
And so
14.
that trust, talk about the trust that gets built between the superintendent and the board when you have that kind of a long-term relationship.
Well, it's a lot like with our students and our staff, right? We say that relationships matter. Relationships are really important. They're the basis for all the work that we do. And that same is true with the board. So the longer you have them and get to know them and they're your people, the more work you can get done and the faster you can move.
Yeah, wow. And I know you've been in education for a long time. Tell me about your path to the superintendency.
So, when I graduated from Central Michigan University in 1999, um, education jobs were not easy to come by in Michigan. You had to really seek them out. So I had a smattering of resumes all over, and I ended up in a really small district called Onekama on the west side of Michigan, a K-12 building, super supportive staff, mentors, community, beautiful location right on Lake Michigan. And I was a middle school teacher there for 10 years, and I had the opportunity to get involved in various leadership roles while I was there. I co-sponsored a international trip to Costa Rica with our students where we focused on service learning and science and social studies. I taught middle school science and social studies. And then I ended up being one of the technology people there, and we rolled out one-to-one computers way back when that was like a new thing and, just in our middle school, and then I trained, various locations throughout the state for that, and then I met my husband who lived more towards the tip of the mitt, as we call it, and I was yep, I was able to find come across an administrative position in Rogers City, Michigan, which is on the northeast border of the Lower Peninsula. And I was an elementary principal there for 4 years. And then I took over as superintendent and elementary principal when that superintendent left. And
Wow.
so it was a combined position. And also falling into that were, things like federal programs, special education, all of the pieces. And my daughter at the time was 9 months old when I took that job initially. So we grew up commuting about 45 minutes every day each way. And by the time she was 6, that had gotten really difficult. So the commute was difficult, and the position, all those layers of the onion with the superintendent principal spot had gotten difficult. A friend of mine was retiring from another district within our ISD. They had called me and suggested I apply for it. And that was it's been a pretty incredible opportunity to move down here. I'm right within the district, and my daughter is moving into her senior year now as we've been here since first grade.
Wow. Wow. I imagine your daughter spent a lot of time at a lot of or a lot of events when you were in that when she was a tiny baby. Probably
Oh,
still is.
yeah, she's been to all kinds of events, yep, she actually just walked in and dropped off Starbucks for me.
Oh,
She
wow.
could she knew. She knows it's summer and she's, living her best life and gave us a call here at the office to see if anybody wants Starbucks on her Starbucks today.
Well, you raised her right then. That's great.
So so yeah, no, she knows the importance of what leadership and the roles mean. Next week, we are going to AASA. I'm in the executive board for AASA, and we'll be in DC meeting with legislators. My daughter hadn't been to DC prior, so last year when we went, she came with me and planned to do all of her shopping around where we were staying, but went to a couple legislative meetings and enjoyed it so much. She's coming back this year to go meet with legislators again. That's
Wow.
DC. So yeah, it's kind of fun.
So what are some of the things that when you meet with a legislator, what's that like? What are some of the things you're talking about and asking about? And are you meeting with do you really focus on the Michigan legislators, seeing your congressman and your senator from Michigan or even more than Michigan?
We start with our Michigan, representatives, and, last year, at this time, we were really in a quandary over what the federal government was going to do with the school aid budget, and so the federal budget was a big question last year with the title funding, and that really was going to impact us. So, that was our focus last year, and, we mostly met with our state legislators. Everybody kinda the superintendents that are all there broke up and did their own groups. But then there are some really important roles that certain legislators play that we wanted to make sure we meet with. So they're still actually working on our agenda, but that should be a good experience. It's unfortunately this year they're all off next week, so we'll be meeting with their teams instead. But sometimes that helps even more because really those teams behind the scenes do a lot of work. Um, and in Michigan, we don't have a budget for next year yet. July 1 is the date that by law they're supposed to have a budget to us, and they haven't yet, as it's June 30th, and we're kind of sitting here waiting. And so that plays into that federal experience too. Like I had to have a budget passed by my board this month, and we had to go into it not knowing what that means.
Assuming you'll at least match last year's numbers.
Yeah, just in a lot of assumptions.
Yeah, right, right. Oh, and you're saying in your district, you rely a lot on the federal funds that come through the title?
The federal funds that come through title amount to about $175,000 for our district. So
Okay.
it's not a huge piece, but it's significant in terms of if we don't have that, where am I shuffling that to? Because the roles that it funds are so critically important to our early literacy program.
Oh, right, right. What's your total budget for a year?
Our total budget is just over $10 million.
Oh, okay. So, I like people to hear that too because um I always see superintendents as, one of the major CEOs in your community. So chances are in your community you're running the biggest budget or one of the biggest budgets, you're running the largest employment, organization, for sure probably the largest transportation, the largest food, the largest social services. And your impact on the community is so great because everyone is impacted by the health of schools.
Yeah, we're super fortunate. We've added a medical clinic here on site, so we have, full physical and behavioral medicine here on site. It can be 20 to 30 minutes for anyone to get to a doctor's office here.
Yeah.
So having the ability to get the services here has been huge, huge impact. And the example I like to use is my daughter gets allergy shots. The allergy shot clinics that they have outside of here run from 9 to 2 and are 45 minutes away. So, what she would miss in a school day to go get that done versus she pops down, gets her allergy shots, the nurse checks on her, goes back to class. She
Yeah.
doesn't miss much at all. Uh,
That's huge. Yes.
so it's a significant impact. Or, you think your child has strep throat, you can get a strep test right there, know your result, move on. And our staff can use it on their planning time, and it just makes everybody's life a lot easier. So that's a partnership we have with Thunder Bay Community Health, and we're able to provide those resources too. Yeah, if I look back 11 years where we were and where we are, I mean, we passed almost a $30 million bond, and we added a whole wing to this building with a significantly large field house. As you can imagine, when we're looking at winter here in northern Michigan, we have some significant weather. And so in April, when our ball teams are trying to get outside, there can still be snow on the field. So we're looking at a field house to really have more indoor capability. Um, Over 75% of our students participate in activities outside of the school day, and we only had one gym for our K-12 community. So now we added 3 full-size courts, an indoor track, a fitness center, and an auditorium because we didn't have an auditorium. Our students all performed in the gym.
Oh, wow.
So to help promote our music and our arts, we felt the need to add that auditorium as well, and that's we held graduation there this year because the weather outdoors didn't work for us, and it was great. So having that significant community resource with the fitness centers that are included in that, we have community hours. So it's open to the community to use at no charge during those community hours and all summer. So that really is a benefit for the community too.
That really is. Wow. And I've done a bunch of these podcasts, and you're the first one who's talked about bringing in that community field house. And I'm familiar with them from colleges, but not from high schools. What an amazing benefit that is to your entire community. You talked about behavioral health, and I agree with you. Your example of the allergy shot was huge because not only did she not miss school, you didn't miss work, or your husband didn't miss work, right? Because to drive 45 minutes, have the appointment, drive back 45 minutes, somewhere, get lunch in there, you've
Mhm.
either missed the whole day of school or half a day of school, one way or the
Right.
other. But you talked about behavioral health, and I know the Cook Center is helping you with a few things with that. You've got our mental health series platform. We've got staff guidance for your staff, and then you've got parent coaching as well as the parent guidance medallion. Can you talk a little bit about where that fits into your overall behavioral health and mental health planning?
So if you look at where we've come from, we've just tried to continue to provide all of the layers of support that students and families need. And the exciting part of partnering with the Cook Center was the ability to add a layer to support our families that is completely private and anonymous because people don't want to necessarily wave the flag and say, "Hey, I'm doing this. I need this help." And so what it's done is it's given our behavioral health team a tool to give to parents to use on their own. So we use parent guidance and share out all the webinars and the pieces they can attend and learn from there. But we have in a district with 650-ish kids, we have 17 parents signed up for parent coaching.
Wow.
And our goal was like, hey, if we can make an impact with 1 or 2 parents, that's going to be worth the investment. So we had 17 parents actually stick with it for the year, and that's a pretty incredible tool for them to have. Just recently, we added the staff guidance, and I got an amazing email from one of my brand new teachers who talked about what a fabulous resource it was for him. Because while he had mentors and people he could go ask, he felt like he was asking lots of questions. And so this gave him another outlet to ask his questions and get some feedback, test some things, and come back. And he really felt that that was a very big benefit to the first year and newer teachers to have that as a resource too. I used it. I had a really angry parent phone call that I had to address, and I wanted the parent to feel that I heard them, and I wanted to ensure that I used the right vocabulary and understanding, and so it was really supportive for that as well.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that, and that's our hope. That's really what we're trying to accomplish is mentorship and help. And when you talked about the mentorship, what what that reminded me of when I was a first year teacher and early teacher is, yeah, you had this mentor and you sort of met with them once a week but you wanted to look good for your mentor, right? So you didn't want you wanted to act like everything's okay. I've got it going. And you might have one question, but you're right. You don't have that. There's just not a relationship where you could go back and ask and ask and ask and I can see how Dr. Skinner's staff guidance advice could really help a first year teacher. And then the example that you used in real life, that's what when I'm standing on a stage talking about staff guidance, that's exactly what I talk about is, hey, I've got these parents that are coming in and I'm worried about this so it like warms my heart to hear that you're using what how we expect it to be used, right? So that's super exciting. You've told me about some really cool accomplishments there, but what's one of your proudest things when you think over 11 years and you go, wow, this was the game changer? What was the game changer?
We have an incredible team here, and the relationships that we've built with each other have really helped support all of the improvements that we've made. And so I'm obviously my heart is super proud of that auditorium and having this place where performances can happen and we can support a wide range of activities. But my background is that I grew up in the Detroit area. I grew up in Oakland County, which is a suburb of Detroit, where there are lots of resources and opportunities. And I've spent my entire career in northern Michigan, where everybody from downstate comes to vacation. And it's a great place. And I'm so fortunate to be able to work where people vacation, right? Like that's great. But our students don't necessarily have the same opportunities. And so all of those things, the auditorium, the field house, the Cook Center supports, expansion of our career tech programs. It's all about building opportunities for students, so no matter what zip code they're from, they have access to opportunities. And so one of the things we haven't talked about that we have done is we've established partnerships with 3 community colleges. We don't have a community college in our district.
Uh-huh.
So our students have to go outside that boundary. So we have 3 community colleges that our students can take dual enrollment credits. And so our students can graduate. Sometimes some of them graduate with 30 college credits when they leave. And that's through those partnerships. And so it's partnerships that really give you the increased opportunities for your students, whether it's corporate partnerships or college partnerships or health center partnerships. All of those pieces have been possible because of the relationships and partnerships.
So it's really that idea of from Johannesburg-Lewiston, you can go anywhere. I wanted to say from here, you can go anywhere, right?
Right, right.
And you wanna give them that opportunity that they can do that. That's a wonderful way to think about the service that you're doing for the students in your community. I love hearing about all of the career tech that's going on in schools because people can't believe what opportunities kids have in schools today. When the average person thinks about schools, they think about reading, math, science, social studies. But what high schools are doing, both from a college perspective that you just talked about, I mean, to be able to leave with 30 credits, that means you're leaving as a junior, doesn't it? Like 30 credits?
Um,
At
so
least a sophomore.
some of them walk into they can go to a community college after having done these credits and just have a couple classes they might need to take to get an associate's. Or they go if they've selected the right classes and they exchange to the college they're going to, yeah, they can go into sophomores sometimes partway through that sophomore year.
Wow. And then from a career perspective, just the things I hear about across the country, drone programs and underwater welding programs and just whatever. So tell me about your career tech because I think that's really exciting.
So we are in a career tech desert. In our ISD, we do not have a career tech millage. So any career tech programs that we have are funded through each individual district. So we really have minimal in comparison to those around us. I mentioned that I was writing grants today. I am actively in the middle of 3 grants, one to add a culinary arts program, one to add a computer programming program, and one to add a medical occupations program that we're looking to run in conjunction with our clinic and health center. So we're working together on that grant, and that's really exciting because it gives them a grow your own model to start building their capacity, and it gives our students the opportunity for some real life opportunities and experiences. In addition, we have a construction trades program that's just in its infancy still, it's growing. We have a business management program that all students are required to take, so every student takes a CTE course. And then we have an accounting CTE course for students who are looking at that business accounting type.
Wow. It's a lot more than wood shop, right?
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
construction trades and accounting can both count as their senior math credit.
Oh,
So it
okay.
gives some flexibility there. In a small school, it's really hard because we personalize, right? So I want to make sure there's a program for every student. So the student a few years ago who wanted to go be a mechanic, we didn't have a CTE mechanics program, but we could get him enrolled in the dual enrollment mechanics program at the community college where he could earn all of his ASC certificates before he graduated.
Wow. So ready to
Ready
go
to
out
go.
in the workforce. Yeah.
So really it's about maintaining those pathways for our kids.
Yeah. How did you bring the health clinic in? Was that through a grant or was that through a partnership with an organization or both?
So when my first administrative job in Rogers City, we partnered. There was a school nurse, and the school nurse actually was employed by Thunder Bay Community Health, and so I got to know their system and their program and how they had opportunities. Then our state started awarding grants for school-based health centers. And that was before I was in this district that started, and this district did not get one. But after coming here, and recognizing that this building, the only what's Johannesburg has a restaurant, a post office, a Dollar General, and another bar restaurant and a convenience store.
Wow. That's it.
That's what's here. And it's all right there on the corner. There isn't a stoplight. There isn't a stop sign. Well, I guess there's one.
And then it balloons in the summer with people.
We get more here in the summer, yep. And in Lewiston particularly, because Lewiston has lakes, so there are a lot of second homes, and summer homes in Lewiston. So, but in Lewiston, there is a medical clinic in town because there is an actual small town there. In Johannesburg, there isn't a medical clinic.
Oh, wow.
So I knew the CEO of the health center because I'd worked with her previously, and I got a hold of her and I was like, "Listen, if there's an opportunity to do that clinic type expansion here, let's talk about it." So we talked, and I worked with their grant writer, and there was a federal grant that came out for school-based health centers.
Okay.
But the school-based health center has to serve the community, the surrounding community. I said, "Well, we can do this." And so we worked with them on the grant, and we got the only federally funded grant in the state of Michigan to open this health center. So that was the renovation, the startup costs, and we got that going. And we're outside of the grant window now. It's a fully functioning clinic. We have a brand new provider because we lost our previous one, and he started yesterday, and he had 9 patients
Wow. Day one.
day one.
Yeah.
So, a pretty incredible, opportunity to have that right here, and that was a partnership and a grant.
Oh.
Worked together for that.
Well, congratulations on bringing that in. I've got a couple of just quick ending questions here. What's one thing most people don't know about you personally?
I thoroughly enjoy being out on my kayak in the water peacefully. I, um, I do listen to a lot of music, and I go to a lot of concerts. Part of that, I think, is my, growing up in the Detroit area, of fun. My finance director and I also steal away to some Broadway shows that we can get tickets to here in Lansing, and I spent a lot of time outside taking care of my garden. My
Well, you're
husband
speaking
does
my
a lot of work
language.
with our garden. We can our own salsa and that kind of thing.
What's one of your favorite Broadway shows? That's my language.
Oh, well, last week we went and saw Anne Juliet, and that was pretty incredible.
Oh, I've heard that. I haven't seen it.
Anne Juliet was really good. I mean, for me, it's Les Mis. I mean, Les Mis is one of my all-time favorites. as well.
Mine's Wicked.
Oh, Wicked, yeah, Wicked was
I've
really good
I've
too.
seen Wicked in Salt Lake City, where near where I live, and London and New York, and I will say New York was hands down the best, but they were all
I've
fabulous.
seen Mamma Mia a few times too,
Oh, I
but
love Mamma Mia as well.
it's a really good one too. So yeah, I don't think I could pick just one.
Mamma Mia is kind of the movie of Mamma Mia is kind of my airplane. When you're on the plane and you just need to put something in and still
Mhm.
work or whatever, that's Mamma Mia for me. So,
Nice.
but I do love that one too. What is some advice that you would give a brand new superintendent?
So I've had the opportunity to mentor a few superintendents, and I think sometimes it works because they end up mentoring me as well, how that relationship works. Um, what I always talk about is going slow to go fast.
I love that.
You need to go slow and build those relationships before you start trying to make change or do something differently. With my administrative team, I had them read um, Chip and Dan Heath's book about change and really understanding. It's Switch is the title. And really understanding the full picture when you go to change something, what that looks like. So I think really going slow to go fast though is the key.
Well, thank you so much, Katie. I just it's just been a pleasure to talk to you. And Johannesburg-Lewiston is so lucky to have you being their strong leader, leading their strong community. And I just appreciate getting to talk to you today and hearing all the great things happening in your little area of Michigan.
Yeah, my little area of Michigan, and I'm really lucky to be here. It's super fortunate.
It sounds like a dream job, honestly.
Some days it can be.